Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby. I'm with Fitness is Medicine. Today we're going to do another great workout you can do in your home. We're going to use a couple different strengths of tubes. So if you've got tubes or bands, grab maybe a harder one and then a little bit lighter one. We're going to use a kettlebell or a dumbbell, a little bit heavier, and then some weights, probably about mid to heavier, and Fitball. So lots of different equipment today. We're going to kind of mix it up and do some things we haven't done in a while. So remember to always come into these workouts warmed up and ready to go. So 5 to 10 minutes of a cardio workout, getting your muscles warm, your heart rate up just a little bit, and come into these workouts ready to move. Okay, we're going to start with a banded vertical pull. This is another way to work your lats. There's lots of different ways to work your back. Sometimes people struggle with how to work their back in a home gym or home situation in general, just because if we don't have the machines that we think we need. But I'm just trying to show you lots of different ways you can work your back with minimal equipment. So we're going to settle down into a little bit of a squat. Now, the important thing here is that we're keeping your back straight. So I want that band about chest height, rib height, something like that. We're going to come down into a squat, and I want your back flat, so no rounding of your back like this. This puts pressure on that low back, on that low spine. We don't want that. Flat back, tummy tight, knees right over your heels, and your weight is in your heels here. Now, keep your head in line with the rest of your spine, and we're going to pull away from the wall, driving those elbows straight across the room towards the other side, squeezing those shoulder blades down and back each time. 5, breathing. 6, don't let your shoulders come up by your ears. Nice and slowly, both directions. 9 and 10. Good. Nice and slowly all the way back. Stand up and breathe. Okay, now we're going to grab either your kettlebell or a dumbbell. So I've grabbed my kettlebell here. Like I said, you can use anything. You could use a weight plate. You could use a gallon jug of water. We're going to do suitcase squats. So just like it sounds, we're going to lower down into a squat, but because we only have weight on one side, your core is really going to have to kick in to keep you stable, because I don't want you hiking it up like this, and I also don't, leaning over like this. So if you're thinking about how you would hold a suitcase and maybe set it down beside you. Now, the important thing is keeping your shoulders level and your hips level, core engaged. So I want you to sit back into those heels. Slowly, we'll do 5 on each side to start, because these can be pretty challenging. Now, you can hang on to like a countertop here so that you know that you're staying stable, if that helps you to sit back and maybe avoid some knee pain as well. Now, keeping everything lined up here, shoulders level, hips level, and I want your hands to go down at the same time too. I don't want you leaning, right? Breathe. Keep your chest tall. All right, we're going to switch. So that was 5. Now, you're welcome to do more than 5, but we're going to start off with this, because these are really challenging, and once you get down there, you should really be feeling it in your core. 3, really challenge to keep yourself level. 4, and if you're not sure, try to keep yourself as level as possible, or if you're working out with a partner, you can watch each other, or try to do it in front of a mirror of some sort. You could even buy one of those little, full-length mirrors at Target or something that you could put, inside your closet or keep nearby so you can watch yourself with your form sometimes. It's a cheap way to make sure that you have that good form, because sometimes it's hard to tell if nobody else is around. Okay, now we're going to do some biceps curls. We're going to do them a little bit differently today. We're going to do what are called preacher curls. So I've got my dumbbells here. Remember to always use good form, picking things up and setting things down on the floor. So we're going to lean over the ball like this and put your elbows on the ball. So the elbows are being supported by the ball, and really you're just keeping yourself in some sort of a comfortable motion here. You don't have to be on your knees. You can be a little further forward. And we're going to do bicep curls. So we're really just isolating here. You might need a little bit less weight doing it like this than you would think normally. 6. If this is too much for your elbows, grab a lighter weight. 9 and 10. The other thing is sometimes putting your arms like this can be more comfortable for bicep curls. So more of a hammer curl. Again, you might want to grab a little bit lighter weight for these. So keeping your elbows in like this versus out like this can feel a little bit better on those elbows. So you can try it both ways and see how that feels for you. Okay, now we're going to lower down to the floor. And on your hands and knees, get that ball from rolling into me. Got all my equipment down here. We're going to do some fire hydrants. So hands beneath your shoulders, knees directly beneath your hips, shoulders away from your ears, head in line with your spine. Keep that tummy nice and tight here. We're going to do fire hydrants. Now the key with this one is you want to maintain a flat back. So envision putting a teacup on your back. You could even put an empty cup or something on your back if you're not sure. And you're going to bring your bent knee out to the side like this. Now, it may feel like it's not a very big range of motion because we all kind of want to do this, right? Like we want to be a really big overachiever. But when you do that, you start to call in other muscle groups, and I really just want to focus on your glutes here. So, really small range of motion, keeping those hips level. Watch yourself in a mirror. Again, get one of those, you know, kind of, they're just not even very expensive, a full-length mirror from Target or something. But you could also put a cup on your back here to make sure that you are staying level. All right, other side. So small range of motion, and you can see how it's a tendency to want to do this, right? But you can see how my back will tip if I go up to the side like that. So I'm really focused on maintaining that stability, keeping your abs nice and tight. Keep breathing. With all of these kind of stabilization and really specific exercises that may not seem like a super big challenge, you really want to focus, think about the muscle group. So thinking about it can call in more muscle activation, muscle fiber activation. Also keeping your abs tight, really focusing on what you're doing, getting the most benefit out of those stabilization exercises. And they can be sometimes the most challenging that we do if performed correctly. Okay, we're going to stand back up. So remember to always stand up slowly so you don't get lightheaded. Bring your body over your hips, your center of gravity, and then stand up. Okay, we're going to go back over to the wall with the tube, and we're going to do some shoulder extensions. Again, this is another stabilization one, but really good for posture, rotator cuff, and shoulder stabilization. So I've got my smaller band here, and I just looped it around my handle because this isn't a super hard one. It's not going to be pulling too hard on it. So I want you to stagger your feet just a little bit, not in a tandem stance, but just about as wide as you would stand and one foot in front. So this keeps your back safe. And we're going to pull straight to your hips. So start with your shoulders down and back. Remember the shoulder blades in your back pockets. And pull straight to your hips. Now you don't need to pull past your hips. So we're extending those shoulders. Hopefully this should be a good stabilization if you do have shoulder pain. And this shouldn't hurt. This is a good safe range of motion to work that shoulder, work that rotator cuff. Nice and slow. Remember, you're keeping your abs engaged here. 9, and 10. All right, good. Always moving slowly and deliberately through some of these exercises. Sometimes I do want you to move more quickly and explosive, but for the most part, I want slow and deliberate and thoughtful and controlled. Okay, we're gonna lower back down to the ground for the last one. We're gonna do a core exercise. We're going to do a reverse, kind of a reverse abs on your back. So, lying down, feet flat on the floor, back flat on the floor, so engage that low abdominals, your TA, your transverse abdominis. Flatten that back to the floor. Now we're going to lift up your feet off the floor, hands down here beside your hips. We're going to lift your hips up off the floor. So think about, you're going to push the ceiling away with your heels. Nice and slow. 3, this doesn't need to be a big motion. 4, 5, breathe. 2 more. And 10. Good. So if that is too challenging and you can't quite figure it out, you can just keep your knees bent here and just think about rolling your knees towards your chest instead. And that will be a little bit, you're just shortening your lever, so making it a little bit less intense than keeping your knees all the way up here. So you can keep your knees bent a little and just slowly lift your hips off the ground, bringing your knees towards your chest. Okay, good. All right, so like I've said in the past, go through these 1 or 2 more times, add some cardio in between, follow with a cool down and a stretch, and you'll have a good full body workout that targeted all your areas. Okay, thank you. We'll see you next time. As always, please let me know if you have any questions. You can leave them in the comments or write me a private message. And if you have any requests, you can always send those to me too. All right, thanks everybody.